Hello again. I'm fascinated by the way that we have, little by little, become accustomed to ever more mad ideas relating to gender and sexuality. It's like the old boiling frog idea. The heat is increased just a little bit each time so that you don't panic and notice when things have become unbearable. In this case, we began by legalising homosexuality, and that was quite right and proper. What other people get up to in bed is none of my business. It ended, though, with homosexuals being able to marry each other, which a few years ago would have been regarded as bizarre in the extreme. By the time this proposal was put forward, though, we had been conditioned to accept that any reservations relating to any aspect of same-sex coupling was homophobia, and it was represented as being as bad as racism. In the case of transsexualism, we've been subjected to the same process, only in that case, the end point is absolutely raving mad. And even after being softened up for years by being accused of transphobia, some of us are still able to see that something dangerous is going on. Once again, I point out I have absolutely no objection at all to anybody wearing whichever clothes they wish or being known by any pronoun, nor do I have a problem with people altering their bodies surgically to conform with their own self-perception. None of that's any of my business. What happens in hospitals, though, is my business. And if something might put my wife or daughter at hazard, I will certainly point this out. Let's start by looking at what a Freedom of Information request to the University Hospitals Birmingham NHS Foundation Trust revealed. I give a link to this in the description to this video. When being admitted to hospital in Birmingham, we find that, and I quote, all patients will be addressed as the gender they present as and will be allocated a bed according to their preferred gender. A person does not have to undergo gender reassignment surgery in order to transition. The reference to gender reassignment surgery should sound a very loud alarm bell. In plain language, this means that somebody with a penis may, by simply saying, I am female, be given a bed in a women's ward. This means sharing showers, lavatories and all other facilities with women. Any women watching this who would be uncomfortable with being in hospital and finding that you are expected to shower in the same place as somebody with a functioning penis? Any viewers feel that way? Be careful. If that's your attitude, you could end up being denied treatment by the hospital or even being reported to the police by hospital staff for a hate crime. No, I'm not making this up, extraordinary as it sounds. I give a link, by the way, to the Sussex NHS policy on transgender patients. It may be seen above. It says that trans people should be accommodated according to the pronouns that they currently use. This presentation may not always accord with the physical sex appearance of the chest or genitalia. Allocation of accommodation does not depend on their having a gender recognition certificate or a legal name change. In other words, in Sussex too, a biologically male person will be placed on a women's ward simply by claiming to be female. The policy goes on to say that, and this is under the heading of harassment, this is in reference to any female viewers that raise their eyebrows at the idea of coming across somebody with a penis when they're having a shower in a women's ward in a hospital. Harassment. Trans people have equal rights to protection from harassment as any other people. Staff should address negative behaviour displayed towards trans people from other staff or people using our services, e.g. a trans woman reportedly referred to as he, despite having requested to use their preferred pronoun she. If staff members need advice on how to challenge stigma and discrimination towards trans people, they can contact the LGBT Staff Network on Time Out Network at sussexpartnershipnhs.uk. In other words, if a female patient sees somebody with a penis in the shower, and ask staff what he is doing in the women's ward, that can be seen as harassment. Harassment, that is, of the person with a penis. It should be noted that discrimination against trans people and discriminatory behaviour, such as repeatedly using the wrong gender pronoun, is tantamount to abuse, and such incidents may be reported and investigated through safeguarding. Here's another fantastic piece of the policy. Staff may be concerned about the possible risks and vulnerabilities that could arise as a consequence of a trans person being admitted to a ward in accordance with their identified gender. These should be assessed objectively in light of the cause of that concern. After consideration, it may be appropriate to take additional action to manage risks, such as reviewing the care plans of all those affected, facilitating discussions with all parties to see if education and understanding about inclusive practices is necessary. A trans person should not be moved solely in response to this enhanced risk, and if it is deemed necessary to move someone, the focus should be on the person exhibiting prejudicial behaviours, not the person affected by them. People using our services have difficulties accepting trans people. This may put a trans person at risk, and it's important to spend time with the person exhibiting prejudiced beliefs. Right, in other words, you will be subject to re-education and possibly placed in an isolated room or have your treatment terminated if you complain about having to share accommodation with someone with a penis if you're a woman, because that's exhibiting prejudicial behaviour. It may put the trans person at risk. Some trusts even say that convicted sex offenders who have penises should still be placed in women's wards. And this is indeed the boiling frog in action. Most people feel like me and have no hostility at all towards transsexuals, and indeed feel nothing but sympathy. This is quite a different matter from wishing our wives to share a shower with a convicted sex offender with a penis. The fact that this is now viewed as prejudicial behaviour and classed as harassment tells us a great deal about the state of modern society.